What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to the $10,000 EIDL Grant Stimulus Update SBA Lawsuit. It is Monday, March the 1st, 2021. Please do me each favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Hashtag EIDL with your comments below. And if you'd like to join a brand new website that's going to launch in the middle of March where yours truly helps grow your business, I ask that you please subscribe to this channel right now and make sure you hit the bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to March. I promised 30 days ago, or was it 28 days ago, that the SBA had about a month to tell us what they're going to do with respect to middle and high income communities. So I'm going to answer in the second half of today's video, do we have a case? Is there a lawsuit that we can file? And if so, what's it look like? But before I get there, let me say once again, we've had an enormous amount of people get a targeted EIDL advance email in the last 48 hours. I'm talking hundreds. Many of you have emailed me. You're beyond excited. You're nervous. You think you're going to screw up the application. So I want to cover something right now. Once again, there's going to be another 6 weeks of these emails. They're running behind. So even if you got 1,000 per employee, I'm estimating at least 2 more weeks of that. Then you're going to have another 3 or 4 weeks of everybody who applied between July 15th when they ran out of money and December 27 when the law passed. However, here's a major heads up. If you made this mistake, you're going to have to reach out to the SBA if they decline you for the grant. But I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. When you're filling out the application for the Targeted EIDL Advance and you get to the bottom, the grid, where you put in your income receipts for 2019, 2020, in the first 2 months of 2021, you do not put any income that's unrelated to your business. You do not put PPP in there. You do not put PUA in there. You do not put unemployment benefits in there. Even if you did a side project that's unrelated to the business and or name you used on the SBA application, it does not go in there. The only thing that goes in that grid are sales or revenue receipts related directly to the business you used when you took out the loan and or the grant. So if you made that mistake and they end up declining you, you're going to have to go back in and fix it, and hopefully they let you slide through. But a lot of you that have not filled out the application as of yet, you better listen to what I just said. Only put your business sales in that grid. So if you launched a company on September 2019, from January to August, you write in 0. Don't explain I didn't have a business, just write 0. And then you put your sales only related to your business. None of that other stuff goes in there, all the way until February 2021. And if you've got less than 300 employees and you can show 2 months of consecutive 30% economic loss relative to January, February of 2020 or 2019, you've got $10,000, or once the next group goes, the balance thereof. So look, lots of good things are happening. As I went over yesterday, there's another $5,000 of Targeted EIDL Advance. And after I went through this about 500 more times, here's my opinion on what it means. I'm sticking by the fact that covered entity means low income community. So if you've gotten an email for 10 grand, you got another 5,000 coming. I'll explain what order it goes in a second. If you're about to get one because you're in a low-income community over the next several weeks, you got another $5,000 coming. Watch yesterday's video, but the quick summary is, if you're a severely impacted business, and they define that as 50% economic loss and 10 employees or less. So it's not 300 like the 10 grand. This 5 grand is 10 employees, the smallest of the small. The confusion yesterday is there's also substantially impacted. All that means, in my opinion, is the SBA has discretion. So let's say you didn't have a 50% economic loss, but you had 33 or 41. That, in my opinion, is going to be substantially impacted because severely is 10 employees and 50% economic loss. Substantially is 10 employees, but no mention of economic loss. I think that's discretion based on reading this, because it says right below that the SBA has 14 days to tell you if you qualify, but get this, 42 days to pay. So this is a staggered supplemental. They obviously want this to be in May and or June in terms of when you get the extra $5,000. But the way I read it is those that have that 50% economic loss or greater are going first. It then says the substantially impacted go next. So the SBA can use their discretion when they look at your application, probably the one you're already doing or about to do for the 10 grand, and they'll say, oh, it looks like Sally had a 32% economic loss. Well, she's not severely impacted, so she's got to wait. Once all the severely impacted go, north of 50% economic loss, then the substantially impacted go. And again, it's 42 days. So if you fill this out in the next month, don't be surprised if it's Memorial Day or into June by the time you get your money. But that being said, about 40% of you stand to get, at some point, let's say by June, $15,000. So I'm over the moon about that. That's bigger than the 10 we've been fighting for the last 12 months. But the obvious question, which leads me into the lawsuit or potential lawsuit, is what about everybody else? Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to pull up my chair. I don't have any more of the cups, so I had to dig into the old Target. I do a lot of shopping at Target. You ever wonder where my t-shirts come from? A lot of them are Target. I think they're 12 or 15 bucks. I spend a lot of money in certain places, like giving away a lot of it, but I'm also cheap in others, and t-shirts is a good example. So cheers. All right, here's the deal. What I'm about to tell you is going to piss off a handful of folks. Some will end up getting blocked. Some will trash my ass all over social media. What's new? My job is to tell you the truth at all times. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And some of this is going to be ugly, but here we go. In order to win in the court of law, we need a violation. Last year under Ms. Davida Carranza, there were multiple violations. Even the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, in the summer told them that. They were withholding information on the loans and the grants. Well, they finally provide that. Now there's a monthly report. They rationed the grant at $1,000 per employee. That was not in the CARES Act. And they capped the loans at 150 G's instead of $2 million where they belong. The SBA under Ms. Davida Carranza was a runaway freight train. As far as I'm concerned, she's a criminal. But she got away with it. And how did she get away with it? Well, keeping it real here, folks. She was appointed by President Trump in January of 2020. So whether it was her boss and or Secretary Mnuchin, both of whom are now gone, telling her, ration that grant and cap that loan, somebody let a 71-year-old grandma who used to work at UPS / the post office, but she had some awfully fancy scarves, didn't she, break the law for an entire year. Three lawsuits were brought. I believe it was Nevada, Arkansas, and Florida. We lost every single one because the whole up to $10,000 language in the CARES Act, section 1110, was too loose. It gave the SBA discretion to break the law and get away with it. Well, now the new law that passed on December the 27th, there is no rationing of the grant. It's $10,000 or the balance thereof. They're trying to remove the caps in this $1.9 trillion behemoth, including the amendment that Jackie Rosen has put into the Senate as of 3 weeks ago. So my question to everybody in the comments is, what's the violation? You call the SBA now, 800-659-2955. There's no more customer service that doesn't have a clue. You go right to a Tier 2 representative, and 9 out of 10 of them know exactly what they're talking about. Look at the pinned comments. How about all those frequently asked question documents, some of which are 15, 20 pages long? How to win in reconsideration, how to file a PPP, how to make sure you get the targeted EIDL advance, and everything in between. Where is the violation? Answer. As of March the 1st, 2021, there isn't any. I keep seeing people in the comments say the SBA is ripping me off. They're doing this, they're doing that. No. I hate to break the news to you. It's the federal government. And in particular, at this point, it's the Democrats in the federal government. Allow me to once again explain what's going on. I'm sure I lost some of you right there. Tough shit. You need to hear the truth again. Big Ben Cardin, who has been a friend of this show, wants to wipe out the EIDL loan so you never make a payment. Treat it just like PPP. When the December 27 law was passed, he was blaming the Republicans. And so was Chris Coons and several other Democrats in the Senate committee for small business, for stuffing in the low-income community requirement of Section 331. Big Ben Cardin, Chris Coons, and others tried to say, well, the Republicans were only going to accept 10 grand and not a rationing of the grant unless we put in low-income community requirement. Okay, fair enough. Let's assume that's true, and I don't think it was. But let's assume it is. Hey, Ben. Hey, Jackie Rosen. Hey, Chris Coons, all of which are Democrats in the Senate. What's stopping you now? We didn't get a single Republican vote in the House. 2 Democrats defected and said no to this pork-filled $1.9 trillion bill. We don't need any Republican votes in the Senate. Kamala Harris, vice president, is the tiebreaker. So guess what, Ben Cardin and Jackie Rosen, Democrats that are huge proponents of $10,000 EIDL grants in the Senate, get your whiteout out and white out that low-income community requirement. Or, in Section 332, the emergency EIDL grant, appropriate $40 billion because guess what? For middle and high-income communities, there's no Republicans stopping you. You can't use that excuse anymore, Ben Cardin. You control all 3 branches of government. There's nothing stopping the Democrats, unless they are trying to pander to low-income community voters, you know, the smelly Walmart, Bible-thumping, gun-toting Trump voters, because in case you didn't see the speech yesterday, he's coming back in 2024, so we got to lock down as many of those low-income community voters as we can right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always told you the truth. If the Democrats in the Senate in particular do not get rid of the low-income community requirement, it's on them. It's not on you and me or the Republicans. At this point, they have the power to fix this. If they don't, then you should know it was them and them the whole time that wanted to pander to low-income community voters because you know who's making a return in 2024. So I'm sorry to tell you, until I get a smoking gun, we have no chance in hell of winning a lawsuit against the SBA because they're following the letter of the law to the T. If anything, they're bending it in favor of middle-income communities because a third of you have reported getting a targeted EIDL advance and you live and or work in a middle-income community. So once again, I am calling on Jackie Rosen, Chris Coons, Ben Cardin, who's now running the Senate Committee for Small Business, and even President Biden. By the way, as of this afternoon, there's $120 billion of unspent EIDL loan money, not grant money, loan money. President Biden, executive order, move $30 or $40 billion of that loan money that's sitting there since last April into the grant pile so that everyone in low, middle, and high income communities can get the $10,000 or the balance thereof that they were promised. And at some point in the next month or so, how about another $5,000 for everybody for all the pain and suffering that you put us through in the last 12 months. Until next time, always remember, I love each and every single one of you, and thanks for watching.